How's it going, everyone, and welcome to my Premier League predictions video. Yes, it is that time of year again where we all predict probably one of the best leagues in the world and get it completely wrong. So yeah, let's just get into it, I suppose. Also, this is my second attempt at recording this video because a stupid number amount of things went wrong the first time. And also this year, I don't really have anything else to say other than there's no bias disclaimer this year. Most of you probably know the reason why. So, starting from the bottom, 20th place, bottom of the league, going down. Southampton. I've got Southampton up in the bottom spot of the Premier League. There's always a team every year that I feel is just one season too far for them. And this season is Southampton, in my opinion. They've done well, but they keep on selling their best players. They have bought some good players in fairness this year. Elyounoussi, Vestergaard, that's about it really. Yeah, they're pretty decent players, but they've let go of Buffal. They've let go of, who else have let go? Tadic. They've let him go as well. So yeah, I think this season is just a step too far for them and they will go down. Whether it's bottom is another question, but yeah, I've got them at bottom. In 19th place is going to be the first of the promoted teams, and that is Cardiff City. Now Cardiff, last time they were in the Premier League, they went straight back down. They had all the controversy about the owner, the manager and all that stuff, but now they're back up. They're back wearing blue. They have Neil Warnock at the helm. And he's probably not going to last the entire season because he never seems to do so in the Premier League. The players they've signed as well, they're not really that great. Fair enough, they're all Championship players who can probably make the step up, but whether they can all do it in the same team at the same time, I don't think so. Like players like Bobby Reed, Greg Cunningham, Josh Murphy. They have signed Harry Arter as well, in fairness, but again, it's just not that great, is it really? So, I'm not saying Harry Arter's not a good player, or any of the others are not good players, but I'm not too sure about them, and that's why I put them to get relegated. I don't think they're going to be able to survive. In 18th place, the last relegation spot, is probably the one and only controversial pick that I've got in my table this year. Every year, I seem to pick something that no one else seems to do, and it's something that people either fully agree with or fully disagree with and hate me for life. But I've got Newcastle in 18th. Now, the thing about Newcastle is Mike Ashley. If Newcastle go down, Mike Ashley will get what he deserves again, but he won't care. He just will not invest in Newcastle United. I mean, today, for example, I've heard that he's trying to buy House of Fraser for £90 million. But you've just had transfer deadline day, mate, and you've spent something like 20 odd million on players, that's it. The players they've signed, they're okay, but they're not that great. They've signed Federico Fernandez, that's probably one of their best signings at centre-back from Swansea. Rondon's not that great. Yoshinori Muto, decent player, but can he do it in the Premier League? We'll see. And Kennedy as well, who is probably the best signing out of those. And other people, Dubravka, the goalkeeper, they signed him on a permanent deal. He was alright last season. But I think Newcastle do not have the strength to stay up this season. So I'm going to put them in 18th. In 17th place, just missing out on relegation, I have got Brighton. Brighton, in my opinion, have just the upper hand on Newcastle in terms of the signings they made, because they've made some pretty decent signings. For example, players like Jahanbakhsh, the Iranian winger, he did bits last season for PSV. I'm pretty sure, I think it was PSV he was playing for, or was it someone else? In fact, no, it wasn't PSV, but either way, he was in the Eredivisie, and yeah, I think he was the top scorer last season. He also was pretty decent in the World Cup as well. Beat players like Florin Andone as well, Leon Balogun at the back. Who else have they signed? Montoya at right back from Valencia. That's a pretty good signing for them. Of course, he used to play for Barcelona. Pretty good signing for them. And yeah, I think they'll be okay. I think they'll stay up just. In 16th place, I have got Huddersfield. Just like Brighton, they've strengthened okay, but they're not going to really be propelled to the next level. The players they've signed are decent. I mean, bargain of the summer probably in terms of not being signed for free is Eric Durm. Apparently, from what I've seen, they only signed him for £900,000, which is ridiculous considering he has played quite a few games for Dortmund. and he's pretty good. They haven't really got the firepower, I don't think, up front. They signed Diakabi from Monaco. That's all I can remember. But yeah, there's nothing much more to say about Huddersfield apart from they're going to be okay, in my opinion, this season. They're going to stay up, but they're not going to do any better than last season. In 15th, I have got Watford. Now, Watford are a hard one to predict always because you never know. With the team they've got, you never know where they're going to finish. Well, with most of the bottom half teams, you never know where they're going to finish. But Watford's team could be good enough to finish in the top half, but also bad enough to finish bottom. It just depends on how they get on. Of course, they've got Javi Gracia in charge. He only had half a season last season. And of course, they lost Richarlison to Everton. But in my opinion, that's not the biggest loss in the world. It's a massive gain for Everton, yes, but it's not a big loss for Watford because under Gracia, Richarlison was not very good. He couldn't really finish his chances, couldn't really do what he wanted with the ball. And yeah, he wasn't that good in the end under Javi Gracia, but he's made some good signings. I can't really remember what signings he's made, to be honest with you, because they were all right at the start of the window, but fair play, he's brought in some decent players, and that's pretty much it. Watford 15th. Now in 14th place, I've got Leicester City. Now Leicester, since they won the league, they finished in decent mid-table spots. This season, I think every team, in my opinion, who finishes in that sort of area, 8th, 9th, 10th area, has to drop off at some point, like, just even if it's just for one season. I'm not saying they're going to drop off and drop all the way down to being relegated eventually, but they're just going to, like, this will be the season where they're just not quite as good as they were. They've lost Mahrez, which is a huge loss for them. They have made some good signings, James Maddison, Ricardo Pereira, Ghazal, the winger as well, one Algerian for another. But Leicester, I'm not too sure about Leicester this season. Jamie Vardy will get 15 goals probably. I'm not too sure about Leicester. That's the one I'm probably the least sure about in terms of where I put them. At 13th, I have got Bournemouth. It still feels like just like not a long time ago when Vale were playing Bournemouth back in League 2. In fact, it's 10 years ago this season that they started League 2 with a set with minus 17 points and finished in like 20th in League 2 or something. It was mad. But of course now they're getting ready for their 4th season in the Premier League, and I think they're going to be just fine. They made some okay signings. They've only signed 3 players in the whole window: David Brooks, Diego Rico, and Jefferson Lerma. Obviously Lerma being the big one. They've strengthened in centre midfield, which is where they needed to strengthen, with the likes of Lerma and Brooks. They're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. Eddie Howe always has his teams just to get so much togetherness in his teams. And Bournemouth, they'll be comfortable. Well, they might not be comfortable, but they'll be mid-table for sure. In 12th, I have the second of the 3 newly promoted teams, and that is going to be Fulham. I had them lower originally. I did this prediction a couple of days ago before the transfer window ended. Just a rough idea, and I've since edited it based on deadline day and the day before, and oh my god, have Fulham moved up the table. I originally had them in 16th or something like that, but deadline day has absolutely propelled them up. They'd already made some decent signings, the likes of Mitrovic, Schürrle, Fabry, the goalkeeper. Pretty decent signings, but then deadline day happened, and in came Fosu Mensah, Joe Bryan, Luciano Vieto, Sergio Rico, and I forgot the other one. But oh my god, what a transfer window they've had. They've become the first team to spend 100 million in their first transfer window after coming back up to the Premier League, like being promoted from the Championship. They've got a very ambitious owner in Shahid Khan, who of course is trying to buy Wembley Stadium, so he has got money to spend, and he has definitely put a lot of money in Fulham's transfer kitty this summer, and they have definitely gone for it. Some fantastic signings for them. I don't really see them finishing much lower than 12th. They're going to have a great season. In 11th, I've got another team from London, Crystal Palace. Now, I don't know why I've got Crystal Palace so high, to be honest with you, apart from the fact that they've had a good transfer window, and what happened to them last season? I don't know. Roy Hodgson did something good. He did something very good. When he was appointed, everyone was just like, well, you're definitely going down. But wow, he did well. And in this transfer window, he's also done very well. Players like Kouyaté, great sign. That's a great signing, that is, for for Crystal Palace. And also, Max Meyer. Oh my god. What, like, he was supposed to be the next big German thing. He might even still be. He's only 22, I think. But he had no club. Schalke just released him. Like, what is up with you guys? That's a big coup for Crystal Palace. Of course, Guy to the goalkeeper as well. Although, I say they've signed a new goalkeeper. Whenever Palace sign a new goalkeeper, somehow Wayne Hennessy keeps that spot and concedes wonder goals every single season. But Crystal Palace, they've got a good togetherness about their team, just like Bournemouth. So I think they'll finish 11th. They'll be mid-table. They'll be fine. In 10th, I've got last season's probably surprise of the season, and that is Burnley. Of course, Burnley are currently playing in the Europa League qualifying. They drew 0-0 last night with Başakşehir, I think, a Turkish team. Anyway, they've signed some good players. I'm not going to base it off signings. They might have the Europa League this year. If they actually get into the Europa League like full, they might finish a bit lower than 10th, because they should just throw all their eggs at that, because they don't have a huge squad. But obviously Joe Hart is a good side, experienced goalie, although Tom Heaton is anyway. Mate Vidra up front, getting another crack at the Premier League. It's good to see that they actually signed someone. Of course, Ben Gibson getting another crack at the Premier League at centre-back. They are good. They are Burnley signings, if you know what I mean. So I've got them 10th. Now in 9th place, I have got West Ham. Now quite a few people are predicting them to be higher than that. Steady on. Yes, they've spent over 100 million on players, and pretty good players at that, like Felipe Anderson, for example, Jack Wilshere, although they didn't spend a penny on him, Fabianski in goal as well. But steady on. They are not going to finish top 6 yet, or even top 7 in my opinion. Steady rise for West Ham in my opinion, but they've definitely got their Pellegrini as manager. The owners have actually listened to the fans and put money into the club, so good on them. And yeah, West Ham to finish 9th in my opinion. In 8th, I have the final promoted team from the Championship, and of course that is none other than Wolves. Again, just a few years ago, I went to Wolves to watch them play against Vale. They beat us 3-0. It wasn't the greatest day ever. But what has happened to them since? Nuno Espirito Santo, the manager. What a guy he is. What a legend. This guy has completely transformed Wolves and turned them into a superpower. A lot of people are predicting them to finish in and around the top 10 this season in the Premier League, and it's not hard to see why. They've got the likes of Ruben Neves, Diogo Jota, Helder Costa, Adama Traore. They've signed Rui Patricio. Don't forget, Rui Patricio is Portugal's goalkeeper, and he's gone to Wolves. Wolves are going to go far, in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if in 2 or 3 years you'll see them breaking into the top 6, getting into Europa League, because they are a force. They are going to be a force to be reckoned with. I think a lot of teams will not see Wolves coming this season. In 7th place is the usual 7th place suspects, and that is Everton. Again, Everton, they spent quite a lot of money in this window. Not as much as last year, but the players they've got in this time are much better than the players they got in last time. A lot of people did their predictions before deadline day, so they didn't count the fact that Yerry Mina and Andre Gomez, 2 players who Barcelona offered to Manchester United, are now at Everton. Like, what the hell is that? Yerry Mina is a tall, strong defender. He is very good. Andre Gomez is not that great, but in a team like Everton, he might flourish, he might shine. He hasn't got his chance at Barcelona. He obviously went to Barcelona for a reason, and that was because he was actually quite good. They've got Richarlison, who under Marco Silva at Watford was just fantastic. It's going to be a good season for Everton, but I don't think they'll go any higher than 7th. And now we move on to the top 6. Who have I put in 6th, and who have I got winning the Premier League? Now, a lot of people probably won't see this coming. In 6th place, I have got Manchester United. Now, how people have not predicted them to finish in this position yet, I do not know. Looking at their pre-season, I'm not just judging it on their pre-season, by the way. They've had a shocker. Not just in terms of results, but it's around that time now where Mourinho looks like he's starting to lose the dressing room a little bit. I know the Master Book said this in his video as well, but it's just true. every 2 or 3 years into a job, Mourinho starts to lose a dressing room and starts to go all stroppy and crappy and horrible. And he could well get sacked this season if Manchester United don't get off to a blistering start because his tactics are crap. I mean, right, I thought of this the other week. When Vale had Bruno Ribeiro in charge, right, what happened to us is exactly what would happen if Mourinho was a manager in League One. We got relegated, by the way. His tactics would not work. And in this season, he's just going to, like, tonight's game, for example, against Leicester, he's just going to come off all crappy and stroppy because he didn't get his centre-back that he wanted. They've got a good team, but the problem is it looks like the manager hasn't got them together, so they're going to finish 6th. I'm sorry, United fans. In 5th place, I have Maurizio Sarri's Chelsea. Chelsea, it's a hard one. Normally, when Chelsea get a new manager, they win the Premier League. But there are teams, unfortunately, the 4 teams I've got above them are too strong for them, in my opinion. They're going to be too strong. They've got Morata as their first choice striker. That's not going to win you a Premier League, I'm sorry. But it's just, I don't see Chelsea getting higher than 5th. I just don't. I don't think he's quite got I don't think he's quite there yet. They appointed Sarri so late in the transfer window that he didn't get a chance to bring anyone in apart from Jorginho, Rob Green. It's just, yeah, it's a bit rubbish, isn't it, really, for Abramovich? But it's Chelsea finishing 5th. That's just what I think. And if they do finish 5th, then Sarri possibly won't even be there next season. So we're now into the top 4 of the Premier League, and in my prediction, the meme is back. I've got Arsenal in 4th place. I think Arsenal are better equipped than Chelsea to finish higher up the table. In terms of they've made more signings for a start off. They made better signings. They have better forwards. They've got, well, maybe not a better defence, but they've got a decent defence as well. If they play Aubameyang and Lacazette in a system up front together, they're going to do bits this season. Arsenal, I think, are going to finish 4th. They're going to get into the Champions League once again. And Unai Emery, I think, will be a decent manager for them. It's a good pickup for Arsenal, that is. Now, in 3rd place, I've got the only Premier League team to not make a signing in the summer window, and I believe they are the first to do so as well. Tottenham. The thing is, Tottenham fans, yes, they're moaning that they haven't made a signing, but the thing is, if you look at the team 3 or 4 years ago, it was still basically the same anyway. You just didn't have Heung-min Son or Alderweireld. It's pretty much the same team. It's pretty, give or take a few players. They've got a backup to Harry Kane now. They've got Llorente. They've got Lucas Moura. Your team's fine. Of course, again, they're moving into a new stadium, but that didn't seem to put them off last season. I thought it would, but it hasn't. And I think moving into a stadium that is theirs will help them a lot more than moving into Wembley, which isn't theirs, if that makes sense. So I think Tottenham will be okay. There's nothing wrong with their team. They haven't signed anyone, yes, but there's nothing wrong with the team they have already. So I think they'll be in the top 4. So here's the big one. 2 teams left. Who have I got 2nd? Who have I got 1st? It's between Manchester City and Liverpool. Who have I got in 2nd and who have I got in 1st? 2nd place, Liverpool. Liverpool in 2nd. I can't say that they're going to win the league. Manchester City are too strong. I mean, Liverpool this season, fantastic for signings. Wow, what signings they've made. Alisson in goal, of course. Keita, Fabinho. It's just brilliant. And of course, the front 3 of Sané, Salah, and Firmino is pretty damn good, of course. So Liverpool, they're setting up to have a great season. They're going to be the team that pushes Manchester City the closest. I don't think it'll be close enough though. Manchester City will win the Premier League, in my opinion. Manchester City, when they get 100 points in a season, how can you not predict them to win it again? Especially with pretty much the same team, plus a world-class player like Mahrez as well. How can you not predict them to win the Premier League? It's just ridiculous. I've not seen any predictions yet that haven't predicted them to win the Premier League. But it's just, I've got nothing more to say other than they are probably the best team the Premier League has ever seen. And obviously the Premier League has seen the Invincibles, but they've now also seen the Centurions, and I think Centurions are much better than Invincibles because they may have lost 1 or 2 games, but they got more points than the Invincibles. And that's what matters. 100 points. It will never be done again, or at least not for a very long time. So Manchester City will win the Premier League. And that is it for my Premier League predictions for 2018-19. Let me know in the comments below who you think will win, who you think will go down, where do you think your team will finish, and overall, what do you think of my predictions? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you want to like unsubscribe from my channel and never watch again because I put Newcastle in the bottom 3, or I put Manchester City to win the league? Please don't do that. But yeah, that is going to end off this video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button down below. It's on that side there. Subscribe if you're new, and if you want to see more of my content, hit the subscribe button, which is the big red thing, and also hit that little bell next to subscribe button if you don't want to miss any of my videos. You'll get them as a notification or as an email, whatever you choose. And yeah, I would really appreciate it if you did subscribe. So until next time, guys, thanks so much for watching. Peace.